Some crimes change lives. Others change entire towns. But then there are crimes so well hidden, so expertly covered up, that years pass before anyone even knows they happened. Tonight, we uncover the secrets buried in plain sight. This is not just another cold case. This is a story of trust betrayed, of evidence overlooked, and of justice that almost slipped away. Before we begin, ask yourself, how well do you really know your neighbors? Could a hidden crime be unfolding in your own backyard, right now? Quick montage. A mother locking her front door, a teacher grading papers in an empty classroom, a lone figure digging in the woods by flashlight. Cut to black. If you want to see more true crime stories that reveal the truth behind the headlines, hit subscribe, like this video, and share your theories in the comments below. You won't believe what's hiding beneath the surface. Before we dive into this chilling story, let's meet key characters. 1. Detective Mia Harper, a seasoned, intuitive detective new to the Willow Falls PD, known for her attention to detail and empathy. 2. Sarah Jensen, a single mother and school nurse, well-liked in the community but quietly dealing with personal struggles. 3. Brian Callahan, local high school history teacher, charming, helpful, but with a complicated past. 4. Officer Rick Torres, beat cop with deep roots in the town, secretly harboring his own doubts about the people he serves. 5. Emily Sanders. Emily is not just a victim. She's a spark that uncovers buried truths, rallies a community, and drives change in Willow Falls. The night air was thick with the scent of wet leaves and wood smoke as Detective Mia Harper leaned against the hood of her unmarked cruiser, watching the rain streak across the windshield in fat, gleaming rivulets. Behind her, police tape fluttered in the wind, cordoning off the Willow Falls High School gymnasium, the kind of place where generations of kids have played basketball, attended dances, and, until tonight, never expected to find themselves at the center of a crime scene. For most, Willow Falls was a town out of a storybook, tree-lined streets, neighbors who waved, and the comforting predictability of small-town life. But Detective Harper knew better. She'd worked big city cases, Chicago, Detroit, places where darkness was obvious out in the open. Hey, it was more insidious. It crept under doorways and into the hearts of people who believed bad things only happened somewhere else. Tonight, that illusion shattered. At 7:42 p.m., Emily Sanders, 16, vanished without a trace. One moment she was laughing with friends at the annual school charity event. The next, she was gone. Her mother, Laura, arrived to pick her up, only to find Emily's phone and backpack abandoned near the gym entrance. Panic set in. Within an hour, police were swarming the school, but the clues were already going cold. Mia Harper took charge, moving with a quiet intensity that marked her work. She questioned everyone, teachers, students, janitors, even the snack bar volunteers. No one had seen Emily leave, but several mentioned seeing a white sedan idling in the parking lot, engine running, lights off. The school nurse, Sarah Jensen, was one of the last to see Emily alive. She remembered Emily complaining of a headache, asking for Tylenol. Nothing unusual, except for the look in Emily's eyes, a look Sarah would later describe as afraid of something, but not someone. In the days that followed, details emerged that made the case even stranger. Emily's social media went dark, a first for a girl who'd once posted 6 times a day. Her last text to her mother read simply, "Don't wait up. Love you." But the timestamp, 8:06 p.m., came after she'd already left her phone at school. Someone else had sent it. Neighbors reported seeing a figure, tall, wearing a hood, moving through Emily's backyard late that night. The next morning, a set of muddy footprints led from the Sanders porch into the woods behind the house, only to vanish at the tree line. Detective Harper's gut twisted. This wasn't a runaway. It wasn't a simple abduction. Someone was playing a game, and they were winning. The Willow Falls PD was small, unaccustomed to this kind of case. Rumors spread quickly. Some said Emily had been targeted by an outsider. Others whispered about troubled families and local secrets. MIA assembled her team. Officer Rick Torres, a steady hand with deep town ties, rookie tech analyst Devin Lee, and, reluctantly, Brian Callahan, the history teacher who volunteered to help coordinate with students. Callahan seemed eager to help, but something about his eagerness bothered Harper. She logged the feeling and moved on. The first major break came from an unlikely source, Emily's locker. Tucked beneath piles of notebooks was a slim, leather-bound journal. Inside, pages filled with cryptic doodles, coded symbols, and names. Names of other girls, some who'd moved away, others who dropped out or transferred quietly in the past few years. As days stretched into a week, tension gripped Willow Falls. News vans lined Main Street. Candlelight vigils flickered beneath the school's brick archways. The Sanders family pleaded for help on TV, their faces gaunt with worry. Detective Harper followed every lead. She canvassed the wood behind the Sanders home. She had forensics combed the muddy footprints, but the rain had washed away all but the barest impression, a size 11 men's. ATM footage from a nearby gas station showed Emily talking to an older woman at 7:16 p.m., a woman who, when Harper ran her face through facial recognition, came up as a Jane Doe from a cold case in Springfield, Illinois, 3 years earlier. Suddenly, Emily's disappearance felt bigger, much bigger. Harper questioned Sarah Jensen, the nurse. Sarah was nervous, evasive. She claimed to have stayed at school late to do paperwork, but couldn't account for missing 40 minutes. Security footage from her office, deleted. Brian Callahan, the teacher, admitted to giving Emily a ride once before, but swore he hadn't seen her that night. Yet Harper found his car parked near the woods behind the school, tires caked in mud. Then there was a drifter, spotted on camera buying food at a gas station, then vanishing from town the same night Emily disappeared. Each lead opened new questions. Each suspect had secrets. The journal became Harper's obsession. She and Devin cracked part of the code. It listed dates and initials, matching the disappearances of other teens across the state. Someone in Willow Falls knew what happened to those girls. Someone was still here. In Emily's backpack, they found a slip of paper. Meet at the old Crescent Mill. Midnight. Tell no one. Harper and her team staked out the mill. Midnight came. A car approached. Headlights off. A figure slipped out. Female, older, with a limp. Harper moved in, heart pounding. But as she drew closer, the woman turned and ran. Into the woods, vanishing into darkness. Who do you think is behind Emily's disappearance? Could the quietest people be hiding the darkest secrets? Drop your theories in the comments and let's unravel this mystery together. A week after Emily Sanders vanished, Willow Falls was barely holding itself together. The quaint autumn mornings, once filled with the sound of kids biking to school and neighbors chatting over coffee, had turned tense and uncertain. Parents kept their children close. Old friends now watch each other with a wary eye, suspicion taking root where trust used to grow. Detective Mia Harper stood by her office window, her notepad open, eyes scanning the list of names that filled Emily's coded journal. Her mind replayed the failed stakeout at the Crescent Mill over and over. Who was a limping woman, and why did she bolt when Harper approached? Harper's gut said the woman was more than a frightened bystander. She was a piece of a puzzle nobody in town even knew existed. Harper's phone buzzed. A text from Officer Rick Torres. "We've got something. Locker room. Come quick." She grabbed her jacket, her badge, and, pausing to address the camera as if speaking directly to the viewers, said quietly, "This is how it happens." A single piece falls into place. If you're following the story, don't forget to subscribe and share your own theories. You might just see something we don't. The high school's basement-level locker room always smelled of chlorine and sweat, echoing with a distant drip of leaky pipes. Rick stood next to a row of dented blue lockers, a grim look on his face. The janitor, Mr. Kenner, shuffled nervously beside him, clutching a heavy set of keys. "This one," Rick said, nodding toward locker 117. Inside, police found a battered duffel bag containing a sweatshirt, mud-caked sneakers, and a burner phone. The phone screen was cracked, but tech analyst Devin Lee managed to pull a single video file from its memory. Harper gathered the team in the cramped, fluorescent-lit security office. She pressed play. The footage was grainy, time-stamped 2 nights before Emily disappeared. It showed Emily, alone, speaking in urgent, hushed tones. Her words were nearly drowned out by static, but one line stood out. "If you find this, please look for the ones who came before. It's not just me." The camera panned as Emily looked off screen, then hurried away. Harper paused the video. The ones who came before, she repeated. Who is she talking about? Sarah Jensen sat in an interrogation room, twisting a tissue in her hands until it shredded. Harper entered, her tone gentle but persistent. Sarah, I know you cared about Emily, but I need you to tell me about the night she disappeared. Why were you in your office? Why did you erase the security footage? Sarah swallowed hard, tears springing to her eyes. I was scared. Someone threatened me. I didn't want to get involved, but I think Emily knew more than she should have. Harper pressed. Who threatened you? Sarah shook her head. I can't say. They said if I talked, someone else would get hurt. All I know is, Emily came to me, asked if I'd seen anything strange. She was terrified, MIA. I told her to go home, but I should have done more. Harper's heart pounded. Was Sarah protecting herself or someone else? She made a note to pull Sarah's phone records and cross-reference them with calls made near the school that night. Outside, Willow Falls was changing. The media had painted the town as a safe American suburb hiding dark secrets, and the label stuck. Residents became more insular. Tips flooded the police hotline, some credible, most just rumors. I saw a strange man by the old bridge. Emily was dating someone older. The janitor's son moved away suddenly. Check him. At the grocery store, parents whispered that maybe the Sanders family hadn't told police everything. Old wounds reopened. A missing girl from 2003, never found. A suicide that no one ever quite believed. Harper walked through the aisles, her badge clipped to her belt. An elderly woman approached, pressing a handwritten note into her palm. You're the only one who listens, she whispered. The note read, check the tunnels under the Crescent Mill. Not everything buried stays dead. Late that night, Harper returned to the abandoned Crescent Mill, flashlights bobbing in the dark as Rick, Devon, and two officers searched the perimeter. In the back, overgrown with vines, they found a locked storm grate, its padlock shiny and new. Devon picked the lock. The metal door creaked open, revealing stone steps slick with moisture and moss. The air below was cold and fetid. They descended, Harper's hand instinctively reaching for her gun. At the bottom, a network of crumbling tunnels. Graffiti, old beer cans, and, chillingly, a faded pink scarf that matched one Emily was seen wearing in her last Instagram post. A faint sound echoed. Footsteps, then a rush of air as someone sprinted deeper into the tunnels. Rick and Harper chased, their footsteps booming. Suddenly, Rick shouted, "Stop! Police!" But the figure disappeared through a narrow gap in the brickwork. All that remained was a torn scrap of fabric and a glint of something metallic wedged in the stones. Back in the station, the evidence techs examined the fabric, matching it to an old case file from 1997, another missing girl, same age as Emily. The metallic object was a locket, its face scratched, inside a faded photo of two girls and a name, Lila and M, BFF forever. Harper stared at the photo, her mind racing. Who was Lila? Was she one of the ones who came before? She addressed the camera, her voice urgent but steady. If you know anything about the tunnels under Crescent Mill, or if you remember Lila from the late 90s, comment below. Your memory could help crack this case. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. We need all eyes on this mystery. Brian Callahan's story began to unravel. When pressed, he admitted he once dated Lila's older sister, years ago. But she left town after Lila disappeared, he said, his face ashen. It broke the family. Harper pressed him further. Why had his car been at the woods that night? Brian hesitated. I was looking for Emily. She asked me for help, said she was in trouble, but I never saw her. I swear. Was Brian a desperate helper, or something more sinister? Harper wasn't sure, but she knew one thing. Everyone in Willow Falls was hiding something. The Sanders family received a call on their landline, blocked number, a voice barely above a whisper. You're looking in the wrong place. Emily isn't the first. She won't be the last. Stay away or you'll be sorry. Police traced the call to a payphone 2 towns over. Security footage showed a hooded woman with a limp making the call. Harper's blood ran cold. The same limping woman from the mill. At home that night, Harper found a manila envelope taped to her door. Inside, photocopies of old yearbook photos, all girls who went missing from nearby towns over the last 20 years. A note, if you keep digging, you'll end up like them. Harper's hands trembled. Someone was watching her. But as she looked at the faces, she noticed something. In every group photo, one adult face kept reappearing, sometimes in the background, sometimes up front, always smiling, always present at school or town events. Sarah Jensen, the nurse. Before you jump to conclusions, what would you do if the person everyone trusts most might be the one hiding the truth? Drop your theories in the comments. Detective Mia Harper barely slept. The faces from the envelope haunted her. The girls, the same trusted adult, the way the town seemed to swallow the truth. She sat at her kitchen table as dawn painted the sky a washed-out gray, piecing together timelines and yearbook photos, drawing lines from the missing girls to Sarah Jensen, who always seemed to be in the right place at the wrong time. She reached for her coffee, her hands shaking. "What am I missing?" she whispered, almost to the viewers. If you've ever seen a pattern everyone else missed, drop it in the comments. We need every sharp eye. A fresh lead wouldn't wait for sunlight. Harper headed to the school, determined to dig deeper, this time into Sarah Jensen's past. Sarah Jensen's personnel file painted a picture of a beloved nurse, glowing references, years of service, awards for community service. But Harper knew appearances could be deceiving. Devin Lee, the tech analyst, pulled up old school rosters and found an unsettling trend. At every school where Sarah worked, a student went missing. Not every year, but often enough to raise alarm bells. Harper and Rick Torres decided to bring Sarah in for more questioning, but first, they searched her office, this time with a warrant. Inside, they found a small, locked box in Sarah's desk, a burner phone hidden behind books in a cabinet, dozens of photos, students, all girls, some with cryptic numbers written on the back. Rick pried open the box. Inside were old ID cards, friendship bracelets, and another locket, this one holding a tiny, folded slip of paper that read, "Forgive me, I had no choice." Sarah was called to the station. She entered quietly, her eyes rimmed red, lips trembling. Harper slid the box of evidence across the table. "Sarah, it's time to tell the truth. These photos, these keepsakes, the missing girls, why do you have them?" Sarah shook, her face crumbling. "It's not what you think. I tried to help them, all of them, but I was scared. There's someone else, someone much worse. They made me cover it up." Harper leaned in. "Who? Tell me who's behind this." Sarah sobbed, finally whispering a name, Dr. Alan Fielding, the retired town pediatrician, the same man who volunteered at every school event, who wrote recommendation letters, who still hosted charity drives. The revelation sent shockwaves through the department. Harper's supervisor wanted to go slow, gather more evidence, avoid a lawsuit. But Harper knew waiting could mean losing another girl. She and her team dug into Dr. Fielding's background, his spotless record, his awards, but also his quiet purchase, years ago, of property on the edge of town, a rundown farmhouse now standing empty. "Everyone trusts Dr. Fielding," Rick said. "He's the last person anyone would suspect." "That's exactly why he got away with it for so long," Harper replied. "But not anymore." With a warrant in hand, Harper, Rick, and a squad of officers stormed the farmhouse just as dusk fell, blue lights flashing across fields gone wild with weeds. Inside, they found chilling evidence. A hidden room behind a false wall in the basement. Personal belongings, clothes, diaries, necklaces of missing girls, cataloged and boxed. Recordings, dozens of tapes labeled with dates and initials. A ledger, cryptic entries matching the names and dates from Emily's journal. The room was empty, but on a battered desk was a new note written in shaky handwriting. "You're getting close, but you'll never find all of us." Emily's case was no longer a local tragedy. It was now part of a horrifying pattern stretching back decades. Harper gave a press conference, urging anyone with information to come forward. No matter how small the detail, your tip could save a life. If you're watching this and remember something, leave a comment or contact your local police. And please, subscribe for updates. Together, we can bring justice. But that night, another girl went missing from a neighboring town. The network wasn't just Fielding. There were others. Harper stared at the new case file, dread growing. Would this cycle ever end? How many people were involved? How deep did the network go? Had the town's silence enabled a ring of predators to operate unchecked for decades? Evidence from the farmhouse pointed to accomplices, names only half deciphered, addresses scratched out, photos of girls Harper had never seen before. As the investigation broadened, townsfolk began coming forward, sharing their own stories, some of suspicion, some of regret. "We always thought someone should say something," an old janitor admitted, tears streaming down his face. But nobody ever did. 2 weeks later, as winter crept over Willow Falls, Harper received a call from Emily's mother. Through tears, Laura Sanders thanked her. "I know you haven't found Emily yet, but you've given us hope. For the first time, we know the truth is out there." Harper visited the Sanders home, meeting Laura at the door. The family's dining table was covered with photos, timelines, letters from strangers offering support. Laura said softly, "Do you think there's a chance she's still alive?" Harper hesitated, then squeezed Laura's hand. "We never stop hoping, and we never stop looking." Willow Falls wasn't the same. Its innocence was gone, but something new was growing: courage, determination, a refusal to turn away. Harper stood beneath the old oak outside the school, gazing at the makeshift memorial for the missing. She addressed the viewers one last time in this chapter. If you ever see something that doesn't feel right, speak up. Don't be silent. And if this story moved you, subscribe, like, and share it so others can learn what can happen when a community refuses to look the other way. Who do you think is still hiding secrets in Willow Falls? Could you spot the clues before the detectives did? Leave your thoughts in the comments. News of the farmhouse raid swept through neighboring counties like wildfire. The old stories resurfaced: rumors, cold cases, memories of girls who just left town. Willow Falls wasn't alone. Detective Mia Harper now worked with state police, her case note ballooning as more families came forward, desperate for answers. Harper sat at a desk, maps and photos spread everywhere, fatigue etched on her face. She filmed an update for viewers, voice low but urgent. "We're finding connections to cases across Illinois, maybe even farther. If you have family in nearby towns, ask if they remember anything strange, or if someone vanished without explanation. Comment your thoughts, share this story, and help us reach those who need to hear it. We can't do this without you." Back at the station, Harper and Devin Lee combed through the folder. Inside were photographs of missing girls, many never reported in Willow Falls, receipts for large cash transfers, ledgers listing initials, dates, locations, Polaroid showing the farmhouse, the mill, and the motel years before anyone suspected. A typed list of approved names included girls from group homes, runaways, foster care. At the bottom, in red ink, Emily Sanders, priority, connects to LJ. LJ, Lila Jensen, the missing girl from 1997. Sarah Jensen's little sister. Harper raced to the Jensen home. Sarah was waiting, pale, hands clasped, eyes darting to the door. "You know about Lila," Harper said gently. Sarah nodded. She was only 15. "I was supposed to protect her, but Dr. Fielding, he said he'd help her, get her out of trouble. I believed him. Then she disappeared, and I never saw her again." Sarah sobbed, voice breaking. "I stayed in Willow Falls to watch, to keep other girls safe, but I was too scared to fight back alone." Harper squeezed her shoulder. "You're not alone now." With the folder's evidence, warrants went out statewide. Dr. Fielding's phone records and bank transfers linked him to a network of trusted professionals across Illinois. 2 more doctors, 3 teachers, a retired judge, a businesswoman on the city council. The ring had operated for decades, exploiting the invisible and the vulnerable. Harper's team worked around the clock, coordinating raids and arrests, their faces broadcast on local news. The town reeled in disbelief. Some demanded justice. Others insisted there must be a mistake. But the evidence was overwhelming. Inside the farmhouse and other properties, investigators found traces of girls who'd vanished as far back as 1985, DNA, personal effects, unmarked graves in the woods. While police rounded up suspects, Harper received a text. "Emily is alive. Come to the river. Alone. Midnight. No police, or she dies. She didn't hesitate. She told Rick to wait nearby and activated her body cam. Night cloaked the riverbank in eerie silence. A lone lantern flickered in the darkness. Emily stood on the far side, bound but alive, eyes wide with hope and terror. Beside her, the limping woman, revealed as Lila Jensen, alive after all these years, held a makeshift weapon, desperate. "I did what I had to," Lila gasped. "But I couldn't leave her. I couldn't let them win again." Dr. Fielding appeared, gun drawn, face twisted in fury. "It's over, Detective. You can't stop what you don't understand." Harper drew her weapon. "It's over for you, Alan. Let them go." A tense standoff. Fielding shouted. Lila lunged. Harper fired. The shot rang out. Fielding collapsed. Rick and backup stormed in, securing the scene. Emily sobbed as Harper freed her. Lila surrendered, exhausted but finally free. Dozens of arrests followed. Survivors came forward, supported by counselors and national advocates. Willow Falls, once a quiet town, became a symbol of resilience and the power of refusing silence. Dr. Fielding died of his wounds, taking many secrets with him. Lila Jensen, long thought lost, became a hero in a cautionary tale, a reminder that some scars never fade, but courage can shine through darkness. Emily returned home, forever changed but alive, surrounded by love. But questions lingered. How many more networks still operated, hidden in plain sight? Had justice truly been served, or did the most powerful still walk free? What happens when a whole community decides to see the truth, no matter how painful? Detective Harper stood on the steps of the courthouse, looking out at the crowd and, in spirit, at your viewers. These crimes happen because people trusted too much, or not enough. If you see something that feels wrong, speak up. You might be the one to save a life. And if you care about justice, subscribe, like, and share the story. Let's keep shining light on what others try to hide. What would you do if you suspected someone close to you was involved in something unthinkable? Would you have the courage to speak up, even if nobody believed you? Drop your thoughts and stories in the comment below. And don't forget to subscribe for more true crime mysteries, because the story is never truly over. The storm that hit Willow Falls didn't end with arrests or headlines. It lingered, quiet but heavy, as families tried to make sense of what had happened. Emily Sanders' safe return became a bittersweet miracle, joy for her family, but grief for those still waiting for answers. Detective Mia Harper visited Emily's home a week after the rescue. The living room was filled with flowers and welcome home cards, but the girl herself was withdrawn, shadowed by trauma. She flinched at loud sounds, struggled to sleep, and jumped at the mention of the river. Laura Sanders, Emily's mother, met Mia at the door, her eyes rimmed red from tears and sleepless nights. Will she ever be the same? Laura whispered. Harper answered honestly. She's been through more than most people can imagine, but with time and with people who believe her, she can heal. Your support is everything. As Mia left, she looked at the camera, her viewers, addressing everyone who had followed Emily's case. If you or someone you love is struggling after trauma, you're not alone. Share your story below or offer support in the comments. Sometimes, the best way to fight darkness is together. Willow Falls held its first community vigil since the truth came out. Hundreds gathered in the town square, candles flickering against the evening wind. Survivors, girls from years ago who never told their stories, came forward, voices trembling, some for the first time. One by one, they spoke. I was afraid no one would believe me. I thought I was the only one. The people who hurt me said no one would ever care. Mia Harper stood with them, not as a detective, but as an ally. She told the crowd and her unseen online audience, if you see someone struggling, reach out. If you have a question about what happened in Willow Falls, or if you want to show support, comment below. And please, share this video. The more people who know, the harder it is for darkness to hide. As the investigation spread across Illinois, more survivors stepped forward. Old cases reopened. New names were added to the list of the rescued and the remembered. Lila Jensen, once the town's missing girl, now worked with advocacy groups. She sat for interviews, speaking about the network that nearly destroyed her life and the courage it took to face her past. "Sometimes the monsters are people you trust," she said in a televised interview. "But there's always someone out there who cares. I survived because someone didn't give up." Harper, watching the interview from her office, felt pride and sorrow. So many years, so many lives changed. Trials began that winter. The evidence from the farmhouse, the motel, the tunnels, all laid bare in court. Some defendants confessed. Others protested innocence, blaming the system, blaming each other. Emily testified via video link, her voice shaking but clear. "I want to be brave for the girls who never made it home," she said. The jury listened, visibly moved. When the verdicts came, there were tears of relief and pain throughout the courthouse. Not every case ended with conviction. Some evidence was too old, some witnesses too frightened to return. But the message was clear. Silence had ended. Willow Falls would never be the same. For Mia Harper, the case left deep marks. She received letters from families across the country, some with thanks, others with questions. At home, she found herself double-checking logs, watching faces in crowds, remembering the warning. If you keep digging, you'll end up like them. One night, Harper recorded a message for her YouTube followers. "Some days, it feels like evil never runs out of hiding places. But every time one of you shares a tip, supports a survivor, or just refuses to look away, we make it harder for the next crime to stay hidden. If this story moved you, subscribe and join our community. Your voice can make all the difference." Despite the convictions, questions remained. Who tipped off the police about the farmhouse raid? Was everyone in the network truly caught, or did someone slip away? Why did the network operate for so long without being exposed? Was there a larger, national ring still operating in the shadows? Harper kept the case files open, a corkboard in her office covered in faces and strings. "We're not done yet," she told Rick. "There's more out there." Spring arrived, cautious and bright. Emily Sanders started therapy, returned to school part-time, and even began posting on social media again. Each small victory was celebrated by her family and the wider Willow Falls community. Sarah Jensen, the nurse, was cleared of wrongdoing. Instead, she became a leader in survivor outreach, running workshops in local schools about warning signs and courage. Harper's final voiceover, as the screen fades from the courthouse to the quiet riverbank where it all began. What would you do if you realized evil had been living next door your whole life? Would you have the courage to speak out, or would you hope someone else would? Drop your answer in the comments, and don't forget, one voice is all it takes to break the silence. Do you believe Willow Falls is truly safe now, or is there always a new danger waiting in the shadows? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more real-life mysteries in the fight for justice. With the trials ending, Willow Falls tried to move on. But every home had been touched, directly or in whispers behind closed doors. Parents hugged their children a little tighter. Neighbors watched each other a little longer. Some things could never return to normal. Detective Mia Harper drove the familiar streets, noticing empty houses where the accused once lived. The town's annual spring festival was subdued this year. No parade, fewer smiling faces. In every crowd, Harper could sense the same silent question. How did we let this happen? She stopped at the town memorial, where photos and names of the missing now stood beside candles and letters. The words "never again" were scrawled across a banner. Harper turned to the camera, her tone serious. "These crimes shook us because they happened here, in the open, in the ordinary. If you think something like this couldn't happen in your own town, think again. If you care about your community, share this story, subscribe, and talk about it. The only way to stop hidden crimes is to make sure they are never hidden again." The survivor support group grew. Girls and women from nearby towns arrived, joining the circle of folding chairs in the local church basement. Emily Sanders spoke for the first time. "I used to think I was alone. Now I know I'm not. Telling my story is scary, but it helps me heal, and it might help someone else, too." Lila Jensen, now a national speaker on missing persons, visited Willow Falls again. At a packed town hall, she urged parents to listen, teachers to notice, and everyone to believe survivors. Evil survives in silence. If you see something, anything, don't wait. Your words could save a life. Harper asked viewers, Have you ever spoken up when others were afraid? Or do you wish you had? Share your story below or offer support to someone who needs it. And remember, it's never too late to do the right thing. Months passed. While the media moved on, Harper and Rick Torres kept working. Some evidence in the farmhouse, and the ledger didn't match any known victims. There were coded initials, receipts from out of state, and one particularly haunting clue, a faded photo of two girls standing outside a gas station in Missouri, dated just 3 months before Emily's abduction. Who were they? Why was the network operating across state lines? Devin Lee traced one cash transfer to a shell company in Kentucky. The money trail went cold after that, but Harper suspected more victims and more perpetrators were still out there. A call came one evening from the FBI. Detective Harper, we're opening a federal task force. We'd like your help. Harper realized this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning of a larger fight. Harper visited Sarah Jensen at the new Survivor Outreach Center. The walls were lined with art from local kids, drawings of sunshine, hope, and sometimes tears. Sarah admitted she sometimes woke at night, heart racing, sure that another secret was about to explode. I always thought doing nothing would keep me safe, Sarah whispered. Now I know, doing nothing was the most dangerous thing of all. Emily, meanwhile, found a measure of peace in music and art. She created a mural at the school, a river winding through dark woods, but with a sunrise breaking over the horizon. That's how I see my life now, she told a reporter. There's always a way out if you keep looking for the light. Harper addressed her viewers. Healing isn't easy. For every person in this story, recovery will take time. If you've ever felt hopeless or invisible, know that you matter. Leave a comment or reach out. We're a community that cares. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're stronger together. The town council approved new programs. Mandatory training for teachers and coaches. Anonymous reporting tools for students. Annual assemblies on abuse prevention and support. Harper was invited to speak at high schools across the region. She ended every talk with the same challenge. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even if it makes you unpopular. Sometimes, asking is the bravest thing you'll ever do. One last twist came as Harper packed up case files for the FBI task force. She found an envelope with no return address. Inside, a single USB drive. On it was a video, grainy footage of another girl, this one from a small town in Ohio, looking directly at the camera. If you're watching this, please help. I'm not the only one. A chill ran down Harper's spine. The network shadow stretched farther than she'd ever imagined. She turned once more to her audience. What would you do if the truth was bigger than you ever dreamed? If you want to help fight for those still missing, subscribe, share this video, and keep asking questions. The more people who know, the safer we all are. Do you think justice can ever truly be complete? What would you change in your own community to make sure these crimes never happen again? Share your ideas and your hopes in the comments. 12 months had passed since Willow Falls was shaken to its core. Flowers bloomed along Main Street, but the town was forever changed. Some families had moved away, seeking a fresh start. Others stayed, determined to reclaim their community and keep watch over the next generation. Detective Mia Harper, now Special Agent Harper, stood at the edge of the school playground. Laughter rang out from children playing tag, a sound that felt both fragile and defiant. She'd been invited as a guest of honor for the new annual Day of Awareness, a day to remember victims, honor survivors, and teach that courage sometimes meant simply speaking the truth. She met Emily Sanders and her mother at the event. Emily smiled, a genuine smile, her hair brighter, her eyes less shadowed. She was volunteering, helping younger kids with art projects. Laura Sanders hugged Harper tightly. "We never could have faced this alone," Laura said. "Thank you for not giving up, for giving us hope when we had none." The FBI task force, with Harper's help, had uncovered rings in 4 more states. Dozens of missing children were found and rescued, some after years in captivity. The network's remaining members were tried and convicted in federal court. Some secrets were finally dragged into the light, but not all wounds could heal so quickly. Lila Jensen, alive, free, but forever changed, continued to speak out. She led support groups and counseled survivors, never letting her story become just another cautionary tale. "We lost a lot," she told a packed auditorium. "But we found each other. And as long as we keep telling the truth, evil can't win." Sarah Jensen helped launch a 24/7 national helpline. Emily created a scholarship for at-risk girls, her own way of turning pain into purpose. Not all questions had answers. A few network figures vanished before they could be caught. The girl in the video from Ohio was still missing, her case now a top priority. Harper sometimes wondered, how many more stories had been buried in the dark, waiting for someone to care enough to look? But the difference now was that people were watching. More towns had trained school staff, parents had tough conversations, survivors found each other, and none of them would let silence win again. Willow Falls was no longer just a headline or a true crime town. It was a place where neighbors knocked on each other's doors, where teachers noticed who seemed lost or afraid, where police listened and believed. It wasn't perfect, but it was awake. At the day's end, Harper stood at the riverbank, where Emily had once been found. She addressed your viewers one final time. The story of Willow Falls isn't just about crime. It's about the strength it takes to face what you're afraid of, to help others, to speak up, even when you're scared. If this story moved you, share it. If you want more stories that dig beneath the surface, subscribe and join us. And if you see something wrong in your world, be the one who does something about it. You never know whose life you might save. Thank you for following this journey. Hidden Crimes You Never Knew Existed is a story of heartbreak, hope, and the unstoppable power of community. If you want to see more true crime stories that inspire action, stay with this channel. Your voice matters. What would you do if you uncovered a crime hidden in your community? And what advice do you have for others facing the same fear? Drop your answers below. See you in the next story. Bye for now.